Mmm. Oh my God, these are incredible. Hi everybody, welcome back to Marie's Kitchen. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're making buttermilk biscuits in the air fryer. Now you can also make these in the oven, so don't worry, I will give you instructions for that, but they're a great one to make in the air fryer if you have one. These biscuits are tender, flaky, buttery, and light, delicious with some jam or something savory like eggs and sausage, or served alongside a warm bowl of soup. Possibilities are endless, and I can't wait to share them with you. Let's get started. We'll start with the dry ingredients. First step is 2 cups of cake flour. Well, what is cake flour? Cake flour looks like this. It says it right on the box. So it's a softer, finer flour with a lower protein content as compared to, say, something like bread flour. So this will make your biscuits extra tender if you use the cake flour. Now I know not everyone has cake flour, and that is totally okay. I have made this same recipe using all-purpose flour and it is equally delicious. This just has a little bit more of a tender crumb. Oh my, here she comes. Here she comes. Okay, could you hear that? That was the bird. Hey Gracie, she came for a visit. Hey girl. So back to the flour. I'm going to use cake flour, but you can use all-purpose flour. If you're using all-purpose flour, check the recipe below in the description box or on my website. Instead of 2 cups flour, it's 1 3/4 cup flour for the all-purpose flour. So 2 cups cake flour. Next step is 2 teaspoons baking powder. Then next is 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. Lots of leavening in these biscuits so we can get good lift. And then finally, 1/2 teaspoon kosher salt. And I almost forgot, sugar. You can add anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon. I like them a little bit sweeter, so I'm gonna do more like a tablespoon. Now we'll just stir together the dry ingredients. Now I'm gonna grab our butter, and I do have that in the fridge because I wanna keep it nice and cold. This is 1/2 cup or 113 grams unsalted butter. And then I've got my hand grater here, and we're gonna grate the butter. This will get our butter in really small pieces really quickly without much handling, so it stays nice and cold. Okay, we're getting close to the end where I would hurt myself. So I'm gonna stop there and just break up this last bit into some smaller pieces like that. Now we'll take our dry ingredients and simply add that to the butter. Then I'm just gonna give it a toss with my fork here and kind of mix the butter in with the flour. So many of you have suggested to grate my butter for pie crust, and I may just have to try it. You know, as they say, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, but maybe I need to just be open and try the grating and see how that goes, because it is really simple, isn't it? And it does avoid handling a lot, so you're keeping the butter nice and cold. So I just may have to try it. All right, we've got our butter and flour here. Next step is our buttermilk, and this is 3/4 cup buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, don't worry. You can make your own buttermilk by using 3/4 cup milk and then adding 2 teaspoons lemon juice. Then you set that aside for about 5 to 10 minutes until it curdles, and then you have your own buttermilk. Okay, so now we'll add our buttermilk and give this a toss. The goal is not to overmix, which makes biscuits tough, and don't overhandle or melt the butter. You want those pieces of butter in there to give us the flakes. Okay, this looks good. I've got a ball of dough here. Now we'll just sprinkle a little flour on my cutting board, and then I'll just press that out into sort of a rectangle. And then what we're gonna do is fold it. And this is gonna create even more flakes in your biscuits. So I just do a fold like that. And then you turn it, maybe a little more flour underneath. And then we're gonna press it back into a rectangle. And then we can fold it again, press it out. So that looks good. Now I'm just gonna press it out into a rectangle that's about 7 inches wide. But the key is you want it about 3/4 inch to 1 inch tall. These would be great for the holidays. My grandmother used to always have buttermilk biscuits at holidays. She would pass a basket, and when she was in the kitchen finishing up, getting everything ready, we'd be sitting at the table starving, waiting for our food. And my brother and I would always sneak a biscuit. Now, what I'm gonna do is grab some saran wrap, and then we're going to pop this in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes, just to chill it again, so we have those pieces of butter nice and cold. We can see how we did here. This is exactly 7 inches, and I would say 3/4 inch tall. So we did great on that. All right, now this goes in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. Okay, we got this out of the fridge. It's nice and cold, and now we'll cut this into our biscuits. To cut the biscuits, I have these biscuit cutters, different sizes, so you can make really big biscuits if you like, better for like breakfast sandwiches, or if you want to have a smaller size for passing at the table, this is a great size. This is the 2.5 inch cutter, so it's just up to you. The key though with cutting biscuits is you can flour your cutter, and then when you press in, you want to go straight down and do not twist the cutter. Twisting the cutter can pull the dough along the outside, and that prevents it from rising. So it's just straight down and then straight back up, and we'll pop that out. Oh, doesn't that look amazing? It's a beautiful biscuit. Look at that butter right there. It's gonna be great. Okay, so we'll cut out a few more of these. Now, if you don't have a biscuit cutter, you can make square biscuits. You would just take your rectangle like this, cut down here, cut here, here, and you would have maybe 9 little square biscuits, and that works just as well. So don't worry if you don't have a cutter. Then you want to bring this together to cut out some more and give it a fold. You really don't want to work the dough a lot for the same reasons I mentioned before. You don't want to really activate that gluten and end up with a tough biscuit. The biscuits that we had to kind of press the dough together and reshape the dough, they probably won't be as pretty, but as we remember, it's not about perfect biscuits. Nobody will care. They will just love the smell of this wonderful buttery homemade biscuit. And these are ready to go in the air fryer. Now, wasn't that easy? We're gonna cook these in my Instant Pot Vortex 6-quart air fryer. And I do love this air fryer. It's very powerful, it's high quality, and it's also very quiet, which I love. So we'll just take out the basket, and then we're gonna use a perforated parchment liner that I'm gonna set in there. And if you don't have a parchment sheet like this, you can use some tin foil, or you can use, you can cut a piece of parchment for yourself. It doesn't have to be perforated. It doesn't make that big of a difference. Now, for me, I cut the middle out because this little handle on my air fryer kind of sticks up. It doesn't sit down very well. So this little perforated parchment with the center cut out fits right over that, and then you can actually grab it easily too. Now we'll add our biscuits right in there to the basket, right on top of the parchment, and I do put them at the corners of the parchment because you want to hold down the parchment. I think only 4 are going to fit at a time in order to give plenty of space for those to get nice and brown around the edges. So let's go with 4. And we'll set it to air fry. The time is 20 to 25 minutes. So let's go to, whoa, Gracie, let's go to about 23. Oh my gosh, she makes the weirdest noises. The temperature will be 325 and start. In this particular air fryer, it heats up for a minute and then it tells you add food. So it has a sort of a set in preheat function, which I just completely ignore. I prefer to add my food to the cold basket rather than trying to add it in when it's hot. And then just a heads up, it will beep at you at about halfway through the cook time. And that beep is to tell you to turn food. We're not turning the biscuits, but if you had a vegetable or something in there, you'd want to turn it. So those are those 2 beeps that you'll hear. And for the biscuits, just ignore both of them. All right, now we'll let these cook. Okay, we're about halfway through. I'm just gonna open that up and take a piece of butter, and just when they're nice and hot, it kind of melts right on there. So you'll get some butter on there, and that helps with browning and of course flavor too. And you can use your brush once it starts melting. Okay, back to it. Okay, I'm gonna check the biscuits. It's been about 20 minutes. I wanna see how they're doing. Oh wow, these look amazing. They're so puffed up, golden brown, and it was so easy. And I'm gonna set out a wire rack, and we're gonna move these over to that. It's always best to let these cool on a wire rack. If you set it on a plate like this, a lot of moisture is gonna build up underneath it, and that makes the bottom kind of soggy. Okay, if you like, you can take a little more butter and again, just kind of melt that on top of the biscuit. Then use your brush to kind of brush it around just for some extra golden color, kind of glistening, and all that yummy flavor. Don't these look amazing? And the house smells so good. Gracie's like, what? She probably wants some biscuits, poor thing. Look at these, look how gorgeous they are. Puffed up all nicely. Oh, they look amazing. So nice, look at all those flakes in there. Ooh, these are gonna be good. I can't wait to try one. But I'm gonna set these aside to cool just a little bit. And then real quick, I wanna show you this same recipe with a gluten-free flour, because I know a lot of you are gluten-free. I get that request a lot. So I'm gonna make that real quick just so you can see how the dough is a little bit different, but everything else is the same. For the gluten-free version, I have everything measured out, so it's gonna go real quick. This is the flour I'm using. It's the cup for cup gluten-free flour blend, and we're gonna use 2 cups of that. Next is 2 teaspoons baking powder, then 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon kosher salt. We're gonna give that a mix. If you're enjoying these recipes, and especially the additional gluten-free alternatives, the air fryer options, the small batch options, if you're enjoying all that, hit the subscribe button. It really means a lot for my channel. Also the like button, the hype button if you can find it, and also leave a comment. And finally, share with friends. Share it on your Facebook, share it on any Reddit groups or baking groups that you're in. Share with friends. It means so much to me, and thank you so much for your support already. Okay, we'll grate our butter. Okay, we'll add the dry to the butter. Now we'll add 3/4 cup buttermilk. I forgot the sugar again. What is up with me today and the sugar? I can't remember the sugar. Okay, I'm gonna do a little less in this batch, but I'm just gonna sprinkle it in. Okay, now we'll mix this together. Okay. Now we'll mix this together just until it forms into a dough. Okay, now at this point, you'll start to notice a difference in the dough as compared to using a cake flour or all-purpose flour, which has a lot more gluten. So it is much more crumbly, and it's a little harder to bring together, but just keep working at it and it will come together. Okay, got our dough. Okay, now we need a little bit of the gluten-free flour on our cutting board here. And then we're gonna shape this into a rectangle. And then we'll give that a fold. The gluten-free flour won't hold flakes as well as gluten does, so the folding doesn't make that much of a difference, but it can help create some flakes. So we're gonna do a few of them. Okay, so this is kind of coming together into a rectangle like with the other dough. About 7 by 1 is what we're going for. I can feel the butter starting to get a little warm since I'm putting my hands on it. So this will go in the fridge for about 10 minutes. All right, it's been about 10 minutes, so now we can cut out our biscuits, the gluten-free flour, and you can see how those turn out. Then we'll dust a little flour on our cutter, and same thing, you just wanna go straight down, no twisting. So now we'll drop these in the air fryer. And then the same thing, we are gonna air fry those at 325 degrees, but it's a little bit shorter. I find with the gluten-free, it's about 18 to 20 minutes. I don't know why, but it cooks a little faster. So we'll reduce the time to, let's do 18, check it at 18, all right. For a freezer option, you can just pop these in the freezer and freeze them until frozen solid, about 20 minutes, and then put them in a Ziploc freezer bag. And then when you want to bake one, you just head over to the freezer, take your frozen biscuit, pop it in the air fryer, and then you're gonna cook it at 325 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. So it's so easy anytime you want a biscuit. Who doesn't want a biscuit? One in the morning maybe, pop it in while you're getting ready. Pop it in while you're getting ready for the day. Pop it in the air fryer while you're, getting ready or having your coffee, and then you have a warm biscuit. Okay, the gluten-free biscuits are done too, so we'll pop those out. They look equally amazing. Can you believe we did that so easily and so quickly? If you are gluten-free, you're gonna love this option. Look at these, they look gorgeous. So this makes about 6 biscuits per recipe, and these are the 2.5-inch biscuits, which I think are a great size. And you can cook these in the oven. You'll put them on a parchment lined baking sheet and bake at 375 for 18 to 20 minutes. So lots of options. Let me know if you have any questions, and for the recipes, you can find them on my website, mariesaba.com. Don't forget to like, hit that thumbs up button, hit the hype button if you can find it. Also, be sure to subscribe. I have lots more videos coming up, and I don't want you to miss any of them. Okay, now we get to taste it. I know these are cool. I mean, they're so, so beautiful. They're just like bursting open. I love that with the flakes and layers, and they're so, just beautiful. So rustic. I love it. Oh, look at that. So good. Mmm. Oh my God, these are incredible. They are kind of crispy on top because of the air fryer, but then so tender and flaky in the middle. Definitely put these on your Thanksgiving menu or have some in the freezer for yourself because they are incredible. Now we'll try a gluten-free one. Also beautiful. Open that one up. Oh, all that steam. Fabulous. Wow. And I'll tell you, it's not sweet at all with that tablespoon of sugar. It's good, wonderful flavor. I have to stop eating so I can talk, but I definitely don't want to. These are amazing. I can't wait for you to try them. Let me know if you do. Leave me a comment, send me an email. I always love to hear from y'all. I hope you learned that with the right ingredients and the right techniques, making homemade buttermilk biscuits is easier than you think. All right, see you next time. Let's go see those pets.